Will you go ahead and introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Barry Chandler.
Okay. And what do you do?
I'm a lieutenant with the Barry County Sheriff's Office.
And what role do you currently have with the Barry County Sheriff's Office?
Currently, I'm assigned as the supervisor over the training unit.
And were you in that same role in September of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Prior to becoming lieutenant over training, can you just briefly describe what roles you've had at the Sheriff's Office?
Yes, ma'am. So I started my career in the jail in 2003. I was a court services deputy, patrol deputy, answering calls for service and things like that. I was a school resource officer for about 6 years, and then prior to being promoted to lieutenant, I was an investigator for 7 years. I worked 6 years in crimes against persons.
So in your capacity as a school resource officer, did you become familiar with the various schools in Barrow County?
Yes, ma'am.
And what different high schools are there in Barrow County?
We have Winder-Barrow High School, Apalachee High School, and the Barrow Arts and Science Academy, BASA.
And where is Apalachee High School located?
Off of Heyman Morris Road.
Okay. And obviously, is that in Barrow County?
Yes, ma'am, in Barrow County.
And approximately how many students go to Apalachee High School?
Around 2,000.
In your capacity as the lieutenant over training, did you coordinate any trainings related to active shooters in 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
And when and where did you do that?
We did several in 2024. We started off at Old County Line Elementary School. We worked at CFIT, which is the Center for Innovative Teaching. And it all sort of culminated at Russell Middle School on March 14th of 2024.
And can you tell us about the training that you did on March 14th at Russell Middle School?
Yes, ma'am. So generally, active shooter training is designed for us to teach our deputies and law enforcement to rapidly enter a structure, to immediately find the person that is shooting and then stop them from shooting. So the training that we did prior to the March 14th drill at Russell was very focused on that. We also included implementing what are called rescue task forces. So rescue task forces are members from fire and EMS who can get into the school quickly, and with security provided by law enforcement, they can start rendering aid to victims. So that was our big push, and the March 14th drill specifically was designed to do it was what we refer to as a full-scale exercise, meaning we had many representatives from almost every public safety agency in the county. The Sheriff's Office participated, the Winder Police Department, Barrow County Fire and EMS, Winder Fire Department, the school systems, our 911 Center, GEMA had a representative, the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. So we had a lot of folks that came together because our goal with the full-scale exercise was to make something as realistic as we could, to give our deputies the ability to respond to the most real-life environment they could. The school system was great. They included, they had teachers that were there that volunteered. The administrators were there. We used cadets, explorers from the Sheriff's Office and the Fire Department as role players. But we tried to make it real, essentially, was what we tried to do.
And what was the purpose of having a training that included fire and EMS as well as law enforcement?
The purpose ended up being sort of our motto over the course of that training and honestly since. And the purpose was to stop the killing and stop the dying. That's the two goals that we have when we respond to active shooters. Stop the killing, meaning stop the shooter from actively killing people, and then stop the dying. We have to render aid and help people that have been injured.
Now I'm going to draw your attention to September 4th of 2024. What were you doing that day?
That morning, I was at our gun range. I was helping an independent film crew set up some things out there.
As part of your role as lieutenant over training, are you also in charge of the gun range?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. While you were at the gun range, did you receive any notification that there was an emergency at Apalachee High School?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. And how did you receive that notification?
Through the Centigics alert system. It's an app that's on our cell phones.
When was Centigics implemented?
So it was implemented in early 2024. The school system had it implemented in the schools, in the buildings, because it's software, but it also, there are connections that had to be made inside the building to give like alerts, red flashing lights, connections to the intercoms, things like that. So the school system had Centigics in April. Centigics was connected to our 911 center over the summer, and then by August, we at the sheriff's office all had access to the app.
Can you just kind of describe for the jury how that system works?
Sure. So Centigics, again, it's a system that essentially initiates and alerts law enforcement and fire and EMS as well of any emergency at a school. So, for example, when the Centigics button is pressed, it puts the school into hard lockdown. So exterior doors are locked. That lets the teachers know that they need to get into their classrooms, make sure the doors are locked, and that their lights are turned off and the kids are hidden out of sight. So that's essentially what it does. It does that, and then it lets the teachers know, hey, you need to go into hard lockdown. All of the smart screens that are in the classrooms, whatever they're doing on those, they're taking over, and then the warning flashes on the screen that they're in hard lockdown, and there's an audible tone that goes throughout the school, and like I said, red flashing lights.
As far as Centigics, how many times does someone have to push the button for it to go into hard lockdown?
8 rapid presses in order for Centigics to go into hard lockdown.
So does that ensure there aren't any accidental presses that ultimately end in?
Generally, yeah. It is a heavier number. We still have the occasional, accidental activation, but having a number like 8 presses makes it a little less common, I guess.
And Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to show you what State's Exhibit 1. Do you recognize that?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you recognize that as?
This is it's basically a screenshot of Apalachee High School. It's an overview, but it's from the Centigics app.
Okay. And is it a fair and accurate copy of the overview of Apalachee from the Centigics app?
Yes, ma'am.
You're right. This time I'd like to introduce an evidence, State's Exhibit 1.
Mr. Hops or Mr. Berry?
No objection. I assume they're demonstrative, Your Honor, and won't go back to the jury.
I think that's something we can discuss later.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll admit it into evidence as one and we'll decide later whether it goes out.
Okay. We can display that. Can we have access, Your Honor?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I pushed it and said, he's waiting.
Okay. So does this show on your phone when there's an emergency? I guess?
Yes, ma'am. So it pops up like a notification badge, right? Saying hard lockdown, and then it tells you the school. And then once you open the app, you can pull up this map.
And does it tell you where specifically the emergency notification came from?
Yes, ma'am.
So kind of going back to September 4th of 2024, when you pulled up this screen, what did you see?
So initially, when I heard the alerts going off on my phone, I looked at it, and then I didn't immediately go to this screen because we had several alerts coming out. Earlier that morning, we'd actually had a test that was done at Bethlehem Elementary. So we got the same alert, the alert that there was a hard lockdown, and then they came over the radio and said, hey, it was just a test. So initially, I look at it and then was like, I wonder if they're having a test at Apalachee. And then the second alert comes through, and then the third. So instead of opening the app immediately, I went to my truck and I got on the radio and turned the radio on, my police radio. I don't recall if I ever opened up the map. I do recall seeing Miss Lancaster's room. I just saw the alert from Miss Lancaster's room.
And so at the initial time that you received this emergency notification, did you know what was going on at Apalachee?
No, ma'am, not initially.
Okay. So you indicated that you got in your truck and turn on the radio. And what
Correct.
happened when you turn on your radio?
Just seconds after I turned my radio on, I heard Deputy Sergeant Chase Boyd say active shooter across the radio.
I have in my hand State Exhibit 2. It's on a hard drive and is the radio traffic from September 4th. Have you had an opportunity to review that radio traffic?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it a fair and accurate recording of what you heard on September 4th?
It is.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to introduce into evidence State Exhibit 2 and publish for the jury, Your Honor.
Defense?
No objection.
All right, 2's admitted, and you can publish it.
Safety Bond, you have traffic. Sure. Active shooter.
That's an active shooter at Apalachee High School.
People.
And you said it was from Deputy Boyd, and who is that?
Sergeant Boyd he's a supervisor with the SRO division. He's one of their immediate supervisors.
So when you heard that, what did you do?
I immediately so being at the range and being in our ammunition house, I didn't have my standard uniform on, so I threw on my gun, jumped in my truck, and I went to Apalachee as fast as I could.
About how far from Apalachee were you?
Close to 5 miles.
Do you remember approximately what time you arrived?
Around 10:30.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as State Exhibits 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3.
Okay.
Do you recognize those?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you recognize those as?
They're overviews of Apalachee High School. They show rooms, room numbers, so essentially school maps.
Okay. And just for the record, is 3.1 a full map of the high school?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is 3.2 a partial map of the high school?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. And I'm going to have you look over to your left.
Okay.
Is that also 3.2 right there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then is 3.3 an overview, like a street view from Google Maps?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. Your Honor, this time I'd like to introduce into evidence State Exhibits 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3.
Defense?
Same objection, Judge. Just as far as going out.
Whether it's demonstrative or not, okay.
Right.
All right. 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3 are all admitted.
All right. Now we're going to start with 3.1, if we could display that for the jury. All right, so is this the full map?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Can you, and I'm going to hand you this in case
Okay.
you need it. Can you show us on there where you went when you arrived?
And so I entered the school through the front door. The front door is going to be here. I made my way to the main atrium, and then from the main atrium, I moved down F Hall until it intersected with J Hall. Once it intersected with J Hall, I made my way. So I could see a large law enforcement presence, obviously, at this point. So I moved down towards the end of J Hall, and that's where I came into contact with Sergeant Boyd, and he had the shooter in custody.
Okay. And when you arrived, who else was there?
A lot of folks. When I initially went through the front door, I saw Sergeant Maxwell. I remember seeing one of our investigators, and so but when I made my initial approach, until I got to the atrium, I think I was by myself.
And were EMS already there as well?
Yes, they had just gotten there, I believe.
And for you, what was your purpose of making entry?
To make sure that the shooter was, number one, secured, to make sure that we didn't have any other shooters in the school, and then to begin to render aid and work towards the bigger picture of securing the entire school.
Okay. Were the skills that y'all learned in March utilized that day?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And how so?
So a lot of the people that we spoke to after the event said that, it's extremely stressful. I can't put into words how different the actual event is than all the training that we've done over the years. And we've done it since, I've been at the Sheriff's Office since 2003, and in 2004, we did an active shooter drill at Apalachee High School. So the words can't put into perspective the amount of stress, but most of the guys that I talked to, they were like, it just felt like training.
And Judge, we're going to object to most of the guys that you talked to and what they may have said.
Can-
Do you hear say?
Just describe it from your
Absolutely.
perspective.
I'll sustain the objection.
Thank you.
It did. It made it more where it was like it was something that they had seen before, which is not very common. It was something that we needed to do for our deputies.
And what was the result of the coordinated response by EMS and law enforcement that day?
So the result was we were able to fully secure the school. Every patient that was injured that could have been saved was saved. We refer to it as we had 0 preventable deaths, which was unheard of in active shooter scenarios up until September 4th.
And you can have a seat.
Okay.
I won't have you do anything
That's
on
all right.
that for a little bit. After you made entry and went to the end of J Hall and observed that the shooter was in custody, what did you do after that?
After making sure that the shooter was in custody, I got a team of deputies and we began moving down. So sort of, again, looking at the big picture, seeing where people were at, realizing where we needed resources. It didn't seem like anybody was fully down F Hall. So I took a team of deputies down F Hall and we began making sure that the classrooms that there weren't any other injured people in the classrooms, again, that there wasn't another shooter, and then just securing those areas.
And as you were securing them, were y'all also evacuating students?
Not initially, but fairly soon after we started clearing. The evacuation process didn't take too long to get to.
And I'm going to go ahead and bring up State Exhibit 3.3 behind you, which is the Google overview. So can you, and I think I lied, you are going to look at the map real quick.
That's fine, yeah.
Can you show us on there where the school is and just kind of orient the jury to what we're looking at?
Yes, ma'am. So, Heyman Morris Road, this is Apalachee High School. The front door is right here, and then you have the rear parking lot where the buses go, and then the football field. And the football field is surrounded by a chain link fence.
And when y'all evacuated the students, where did y'all ultimately evacuate them to?
To the football field.
And when parents arrived to come find their children, were they eventually allowed to go to the football field as well?
Yes, ma'am, they were.
Approximately how many law enforcement officers responded to Apalachee High School that day?
I believe that the number was close to 400, if not a little more.
And how many different agencies, if you know?
There were 56 that we made note of.
I'm going to go back to when you were in the school. Did you observe any dust-like substance present in the school when you were clearing it?
Yes, ma'am.
And where was it located?
So I noticed it the closer I got to J Hall. As I was going down F Hall, I noticed it as I was getting towards J Hall.
And had you had experience with that kind of dust before?
Yes, ma'am, years ago.
Okay. And based on that, your training and experience, where did that dust originate from?
I almost immediately recognized that it was from the ceiling tiles. The concussion from the gunshot caused the dust from the ceiling tiles to start to fall and settle. In 2008, we had done an active shooter drill at Old County Line Elementary School, and I was picked to be the suspect, the shooter. I was given a blank gun, so it doesn't fire real projectiles, just really loud and puts out the flash. And they put me in a bathroom, and when they gave me the signal, I shot, and the dust fell down from the ceiling tiles, and it created something very similar to what I saw at Apalachee.
And in your capacity as lieutenant over training, have you had an opportunity to review the surveillance videos from September 4th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In reviewing it, did you see the dust come from the ceiling tiles like you just described?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your purpose in reviewing that surveillance video?
Just to review the actions of our first responders, of the deputies, of fire and EMS, and to learn if what we did well, what we could have done differently, and then to implement that into training.
After watching that video, did you become aware of the path that the shooter took on September 4th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At this time, I'd like you to go through that path for the jury,
Okay.
and if you could use the large map over there.
Yeah.
And I'd like to start with the shooter's first period class. What class was he in?
So for first period, he was in Miss Harris's class, and that was 1.515. It's going to be located right here.
And are you familiar with what time first period class is?
Yes, ma'am. So he got to class around 8:01, and the class starts at 8:15.
Okay. And are you familiar with what time it ends approximately?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah, it ends at 9:38.
After he left first period class, where did he go for second period?
So he leaves first period, and then he goes to Miss Catherine Greer's room on J Hall, room 2.151, and that was where that was second period. That's where he went next.
And what time does that class start?
9:45.
At some point, did he leave Miss Greer's class?
He did. He left her class at around 9:54.
And where did he go?
He went to the restroom.
Can you show which restroom he went to?
Yes, ma'am. Men's restroom, J Hall, just a short distance from Miss Greer's class.
And approximately when did he leave the restroom?
At 10:21.
After he left the restroom, where did he go?
He went back towards Miss Greer's class. So he had left Miss Greer's class. He had his book bag with him that we ultimately learned had a gun in it. So when he exits the men's bathroom, he's got the book bag. At some point, he drops the book bag, so he just has his gun, and he goes back to Miss Greer's classroom.
And was he able to get into that room?
No, ma'am.
Where did he go after that?
He went immediately next door. He went to Miss Ryan and Coach Edwards' classroom, which is 2.152.
And what happened in that classroom?
The door to that classroom was open, slightly open, just a little bit, and he began firing numerous rounds into that classroom.
And was anyone injured or killed in that classroom?
Yes, ma'am. Several students were injured. Christian Angulo was killed in that classroom.
After he left Miss Ryan's classroom, where did he go?
So after he shot here, thankfully, as unfortunately as Christian was, after Christian had been shot, he used his foot to close the door. So he restricted access to the shooter after that. The shooter moved back down the hall towards the restrooms that he had come from. And he ultimately got to this intersection as he's moving down the hall in room 2.145, Miss Irmy. She was in that room, Christina Irmy. She opened the door to see what was going on. She looked out briefly, and he shot her.
And did she survive?
No, ma'am, she didn't.
After he shot Miss Irmy, what did he do?
So after he shot Miss Irmy, he kept moving. He moved. He was continuing to move. He got to the intersection here of K Hall and J Hall, and while he was here, he saw Coach Aspinwall and Coach Phoenix, Ricky Aspinwall and David Phoenix, left their classrooms, which are two doors, almost side by side, so they leave pretty much at the same time. And as soon as the shooter sees them coming out of those classrooms, as they're in the hall, he shoots them numerous times. Coach Aspinwall was killed, and Mr. Phoenix was hurt pretty bad.
And then after that, where does he go?
Continues moving down J Hall. The shooter gets to this area here, Jay and I, about the time that Mason Tremorhorn comes out of the bathroom. He sees Mason, he aims his rifle, he shoots several times, and he ultimately kills Mason.
And then what happened?
After he shoots Mason, he turns and aims down K Hall at a student that was quickly trying to run away from him. He was trying to run so fast that he swallowed over himself. As soon as he aims this way, Deputy Brandon King and Sergeant Boyd made their way down F Hall. They actually came out at the intersection on J Hall, so they could tell that there was, through the haze of the dust that had fallen, they could tell that somebody was down there. They heard the shots when he shot Mason, And then they immediately started giving loud verbal commands for him to drop his gun. And he immediately surrendered.
All right, Lieutenant Chandler, I don't have any further questions for you right now.
Cross? Thank you. Good morning, Lieutenant.
Morning, sir.
I only have a few questions for you. How many entrances are to the high school?
Specifically, I'm not 100% sure exactly how many entrances. I can count them for you, though, using the map that we have, if you'd like me to.
If you know, that would be great.
Okay, give me 1 second. So I'm going to go based off of mostly just the exterior doors. There are going to be some other doors that I might not be able to count. I would say upwards of, I'd say a little more than 15 exterior doors.
Okay. And are all of those doors secured when the kids first come in?
Yes, sir.
So other people can't get in from other places?
Correct, they're supposed to be, yes, sir.
So all the students have to go in through the front?
No, sir, not necessarily through the front. So basically, I think the way they have it set up is car riders will go through the front, and then the bus riders will go through the back side of the school.
Okay, so you got actually two entrances?
Two main entrances, yes, sir.
And the entrance that Colt made would be from the bus?
Correct, yes, sir.
And do you know what time that bus arrived?
Slightly before 8.
Okay. Do you know how many children were on that bus with him?
No, sir, I don't.
I assume you didn't take possession of any evidence at all?
No, sir. My role after the initial response was that I did supplement CID's efforts, but I didn't specifically collect evidence.
Okay. Nothing further.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Judge.
Based on crossing, you redirect?
No, Your Honor. May Lieutenant Chandler be excused?
Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
State cross next, please. Is the next witness a long one we may break for lunch before cross, if so?
Maybe about 20 minutes.
Okay.